thanks. We kind of went into Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, their DLC called the Coiled Captors. We bought that and played it with our buddy Kyle. I'll let you start off. What did what did you think?
It was such a kick in the balls.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I mean, you could probably tell as we were going through it. Like, I didn't want to admit just how bad it was. I don't know. I guess the thing is, like, so to be fair, my recollection or my time with Borderlands DLC harks back to, like, Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, which I would say, like, hands down, is some of my favorite DLC across, like, all of gaming over the past few generations. Like, the BL1 and BL2 DLC was excellent. I didn't play much BL3's DLC, so I can't really say. I think after reading up on it a little bit, I heard that was a little more lacking. So maybe if I would have played that, I would have been better prepped for what we were about to get for this. But I don't know. I was expecting maybe not something quite as grandiose as the stuff from the earlier games, but I expected something, at least memorable. Maybe have a little bit of story content or anything like that, some side quests. This was nothing. This was, for those who have played it and are familiar with, like, the Chaos Chamber at the end, the whole DLC is literally like one run through of a Chaos Chamber, and honestly, not even as interesting or as rewarding. Like, you don't get as many rewards at the end. The boss at the end is, I think, easier or probably weaker than other bosses throughout the rest of the game. It's just no story content, no nothing. This is really just kind of a waste of DLC. I'm very, very sad to say that.
Yeah. I guess my best way to kind of talk about my feelings about the game is actually it's exactly what I said during our stream where we played it with our buddy Kyle. In my head, I guess I couldn't phrase it any better than I did then. Whereas about an hour 20 into our Coiled Captors stream, I said something along the lines of, like, it's super annoying that they would release a DLC so quickly after the game came out, knowing that most of the hardcore base would be, like, max level, max gear, and, like, and my buddy Kyle said it right. Like, I don't inherently have a problem with it being so short. What we had a problem with was how easy it was. It wasn't challenging. There really was no gear we got from it that really helped us out or improved. And like you said, there were no story beats to it. So it was like, what did we really get out of it? Out of just knocking out a few, going through some really basic levels. So it felt very pointless.
Yeah, to play devil's advocate for just a minute, because you kind of brought up a somewhat interesting point. So you're thinking that the developer should assume that anybody at this point is, like, max level, looking for in-game content, which, let's think about that for a minute. So when you say max level, you're level 40 in the game, right? Have you done all the Chaos Chambers?
No, I haven't.
So technically, you're not max level.
Well, maybe that's a bad way of phrasing it, but but the strength level when comparing yourself to what the DLC is, I mean, like...
Oh, that's fair. I guess the reason I bring that up, because I read some article, or maybe I lied, it's not an article, maybe it was just some point on Reddit, which, take that with a grain of salt, but they were looking at, okay, how many people are actually at, a max-ish level, whether that mean you reach level 40, or you've done, Chaos level 20, whatever it may be.
I think 35 is the max Chaos level. Like 35.
It is now. Yeah, they just raised it.
Yeah.
But I guess they were looking at, like, achievements, and it's a pretty low achievement percentage of how many people have gotten to that point, like under 5% or something. I'm just pulling that number out of my head. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but it was really, really low in comparison. So if you think the developers are looking at those type of numbers, and honestly they have more, in-depth data than that, they're looking at a situation where probably the majority of people aren't at in-game level. So maybe that's not what this particular content was supposed to be. That isn't supposed to be the next in-game content. It's just, for maybe those who are going through the campaign normally, it's a little side venture they could dig into. And, honestly, if I think about it that way, if this would have been something that popped up and we could have played it halfway through our campaign run, I don't think I would look at it quite as negatively.
It would have been pretty fun.
So maybe it's just because we are coming at it from, okay, we are, at least max base level, and we're looking for kind of extra content to play because we've exhausted everything else, then it's really disappointing. But if you look at it as an add-on to just your general playthrough, it's probably not so bad.
I agree. I can see that.
I mean, I do still find it disappointing because once again, we are coming from that. We've already played through the game, but yeah, I think the game's only been out for what is it, like a month and a half, something like that. Not a very long time. So odds are people aren't at endgame, and they are probably putting up this DLC with the anticipation that as more people pick up the game down the line, this will be content they can enjoy going through it. But still, it hurts for those who I think who are further along in it. And the time gating, I don't know if you mentioned that yet. The time gating nature of this burns a little bit too for those who are, once again, max level, because it really is just this one run. It takes like, what, 10 minutes if we did it quick? If they at least would have given you the option to do the extra levels, which for those who aren't aware, in case we didn't mention it, the way this DLC works is it's a run through. You fight this one boss at the end, but they're supposed to every week, they said?
It's each week a new form or his next level or whatever is introduced.
Yeah, so the boss levels up every week. So after you do it like, what, 4 or 5 or however many times, you end up with kind of a mega boss. And maybe in context, if you could do all of that all at once, the DLC would have felt a little more, I don't know, rewarding. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, or at least a little more substantial. But as it is in this time-gated format, it burns quite a bit.
Sorry, while you were saying that, I was trying to look up the guy I actually sent you that video for, because I wanted to kind of give him a shout-out. I actually really liked his videos. Waiting for this ad to play through. But yeah, I'll switch over. Just this guy right here, Thick Fillet. That's kind of a funny.
That's a great name.
Yeah, I just kind of enjoyed his video and kind of enjoyed his take on kind of how disappointing it was, mainly because he was, I don't know if you guys know, but he actually was able to play all 4 encounters of the final boss on his first playthrough, and he actually walked away kind of like pleasantly happy with with his game, and then immediately I guess it was patched out, and yeah, kind of interesting. I think that probably should have been. I think you mentioned that probably should have been the way that the DLC was just played at initially, but.
I'm trying to think of what the benefit is for time gating this. Like, I'm sure it's so they can try to encourage, recurring players over the next few weeks, but if anything, it's turned me off to playing it for the next few weeks. Like, if I could have, hopped right into and grinded out, a higher level boss for the next few weeks, that would have been more entertaining. But the fact that I know I might as well just wait 4 weeks and then have access to the the entire boss rush. I might as well just wait. So I don't know, it's actually deterred me from playing rather than encourage me to play consistently for the next few weeks. So yeah, I think they should just release the whole thing, all 4 or 5 runs, whatever it is, or levels, whatever they're calling it, and just let everybody dig into it.
Well, now that I think about it, like the way they've also done it, like you were saying, because of the time gate, is now I feel like they've actually ramped up the expectations even more on the multiple levels of this shark thing. You know what I mean? If they'd have released it all at once, then maybe like minor improvements to the enemy throughout might have been like we would have been more open to. But now all of a sudden you're making us wait. Now all of a sudden that thing, he needs to be like Gojira at the end. You know what I mean?
And it's never going to feel like that.
No,
there's 4 levels, and you think, at the end of it, you have this boss who is, you may comparable to like an in-game boss at the base level. Then all the tiers in between are going to feel really, really lackluster. So, yeah, I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot here. Like, I can pseudo understand why they did this time gate, but I argue was the bad move for them. And here's the thing: they have other stuff that could keep you coming back. Like, it wasn't even part of the DLC, but their hot patch they put out with it. It raised the chaos level if you set to 35. So for those who are wanting that kind of grindy in-game content. That's 15 extra levels to grind, and I actually enjoy that. I mean, it's not for everybody, but I'm working my way up to 35 now. If that would have kept me busy for a few weeks and still kept me as a recurring player, regardless if they had this stupid time-gated nonsense. So, yeah, I don't know.
And yeah, actually, you and our buddy Kyle actually said it pretty. I think you said it pretty well. Like, it's kind of sad because the main game, actually, for the most part, I feel like had bought a lot of goodwill because we actually enjoyed the main game, and for this to be like our immediate experience after for the first DLC, it was just kind of like, man, you guys kind of were rolling there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of put me on a roller coaster because when we talked about this, I think briefly already, but like we love Borderlands 1 and 2, and then Borderlands 3 was a big dip in the roller coaster.
It was still fun because we were playing with each other, but.
Yeah, but still, in
Gross.
comparison, it turned me off. In all honesty, like I lost a lot of interest after playing that game, and then I had no interest in Tiny Tina's from the outset. And then once we got into it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So roller coaster goes up, and now we're dipping back down because the DLC just seems like more of a letdown, like BL3 did. So I don't know, it's disappointing. I'm hoping they can take this feedback because I mean this is not. A unique perspective on this DLC. Just if you do a passing Google search,
I was just gonna say, yeah,
everybody's berating this thing from guys on Forbes to Reddit to everywhere. So they are very aware that this did not land well for them. So I'm hoping they, go back to the kitchen a little bit, rework things, and definitely pull something out a little more substantial for the next one.
The same thing on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and you type in Coiled Captors, every video is like bad, 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 bad. I don't know.
It's annoying too because along with the DLC, they put out that hot patch, which honestly, that hot patch was huge. Like for those who are like really following the game, like for like minute details and tweaks and whatnot, the hot patch did a lot to add some quality of life stuff and fix some things. So it's not. Here's the thing: I don't want to feel like or come across like these developers have been lazy by any means. They clearly have been working their butts off since this game released to fix problems and update things and put out this giant hot patch and give us some pseudo new content. I think what really makes it hurt is this content as it is, as unsubstantial as it is, was $10. And this is as it sits is not $10 to me. Like
I think it could have been a fun idea. It just feels implemented wrongly. Like
yeah.
God.
No, I'm sorry. I won't cut you off because I agree with where you're going.
I feel like, again, I mentioned it. If all of this was available at the beginning, this could have been fun. This could have been a really enjoyable, I don't know, what it took us 2 hours to run maybe 3 times. So it could have been a legit fun 3 to 4 hours. Yeah.
And it did not really take us 2 hours. Like, that was us putzing around, taking forever. It took us like 20 minutes to figure out where the DLC was. That was a little weird. So we had to find the DLC, figure out how to even start it. I think the actual run took us 15 minutes. And the other runs were only because we were trying to figure out if we could unlock the next level. They were kind of just wasted runs. So we didn't get anything new in those, that extra hour.
We spent a lot of time just meleeing things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those little what are the challenges they add to it? We have to melee things each room or something. Yeah, no, that was dumb. So yeah, they should release everything all at once. That would have helped. As it sits, for those who are playing this game and are looking for a review on it or a reason to pick it up, I would say hold off if that is if you're in that boat. Just wait. Maybe they'll tweak it, or at least wait 3 or 4 weeks and then pick it up. And as a full experience, it's probably going to be more enjoyable. But until then, just wait.
I guess the only last thing I wanted to mention is just I should have seen it coming because from the get-go I could tell. From the get-go, I should have seen that the DLC wasn't going to be very well thought out because I think you mentioned it, how weird it was to even find out how to start it because there is no like quest pop-up, there is no notification. It's just I mentioned it in our stream, like before you guys hopped on, I at least wanted to figure out how to start it, and I had to go to Google and it says go to this location on the map, it's there. I'm like, well, how the heck would we have known that? I don't know. I just thought it was kind of...
I think they've done stuff like that in the past, but it did feel awkward, especially in the context of this game. Like, because honestly, it's a big game to just hop around and try to find stuff. So to have no kind of cue that you're supposed to go back to the overworld map and find something was a little odd.
I mean, I would say maybe it's worth a purchase if you're just starting the game, like the entire game. But I mean, if you finished it, because we were going in expecting like a what's the word? A wide, I don't know, a wide amount of like content. But maybe if you just don't notice it and you buy it when the same time you get the main game, maybe it fits in better. You know what I mean? Or you notice that less?
I'd still say wait. I mean, I agree in context, but you gotta think if someone's picking up the game, they're probably gonna run through the story in a week or two, and you're not gonna have the full content available to you in a week or two. I mean,
that's fair. That's true enough.
It'll probably seem less offensive at that rate, but I don't know. I still think it's just a hold off. Like, If you already have the game and you're looking for something else to do in the game, this isn't it. At least not yet. Wait another, month is what it's going to look like, then pick up the whole thing. And if you're just picking up the game, there's so much other good content in there. Just play that. Start working on chaos runs or whatnot, and then maybe once you've gotten to a certain chaos level, this whole DLC will be out, and then you can decide after seeing a little more reviews of the full experience if that's something you want to put your money into.
Mm-hmm.